Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Allen Global. Let's wait for 5 more minutes for other participants to join. So we'll start in a while. Good evening and a warm welcome to this insightful and exclusive webinar hosted by Allen Global. I am Dr. Kamaljeet Kaur, your host for the session, and it's a pleasure to have you with us today. This session promises to empower you with expert knowledge on medical education pathways across the USA, UK, and Australia, helping you make informed choices as you pursue your dream to becoming a globally qualified doctor. It's an honor for me to introduce you to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Angad Singh Chopra, a senior country counselor at Allen Global. With years of experience and a track record of excellence, Angad sir has mentored hundreds of students towards successful admissions into world-renowned universities such as MIT, Oxford, Brown, and Imperial College London, and many more. Under his guidance, our students have secured outstanding scores in international exams like UCAT, ISAT, SAT, TOEFL, IELTS, and advanced placement, while also achieving admissions to top tier global internships and over more than $34 million scholarships worldwide. In today's session, you'll gain a comprehensive understanding of BS+MD programs and traditional medical pathways, key exams like MCAT, UCAT, and ISAT, profile building through research, internships, and passion projects, country comparisons, scholarships, and post-study work opportunities. This is your opportunity to grasp what it takes to stand out to top medical schools, not just academically, but through innovation, research, and impact driven work. So, without further ado, I invite Angit sir to take us through the agenda and begin this exciting journey. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for the warm welcome. And hi, guys. I hope you all are doing well. So, as ma'am already discussed, what's going to be the agenda of today's webinar? More or less, today I'll be speaking or giving you some insights over how your gateway towards like the top medical universities, whether you're targeting US, whether you are targeting specifically UK or specifically you're targeting the Australia. So let's begin the thing. Before I start, I'll just give you an overview for the overall roadmap of this today's webinar. And post that, we'll have a Q&A session where I'll be answering your queries, whatever doubts you have might be related to profile building, related to the pre-med track, or whatever countries might be you're targeting specifically for your medicine. So first and foremost, guys, I'll be speaking more about your courses and college selection, like which course we need to pick in specifically for pre-medicine if you're targeting US specifically. Second, I'll be speaking more about your internships or what could be the different research that basically you could do in your profile building segment to boost your profile for the top medical schools, whether it's Johns Hopkins, Imperial, Monash, or many more. Thirdly, I'll put some emphasis on publication guidance. What could be the different pathways where more or less, you could have an overview how we could boost your profile specifically for research papers and how you could write patents specifically for your projects. And then I'll be speaking more about the country comparisons. Which country would be the best considering the 2025 and 2026 trends? Is it US? Is it Australia or is it UK? And we'll do certain comparison, guys. Last but not the least, I'll show you certain case studies, more or less the students who got into top med schools, what was the additional things in their profile that makes them stand out of the crowd. So that will be the major, I could say, the objective of the today's webinar. So I'll not take too much time. I'll just hop on to the first segment of that. What would be the best pre-meds major segments? This is specifically for the ones, guys, who are targeting US to be precise as their primary target for medicine, or more or less a North America, where you have a segment where you need to first of all do your pre-medicine, then you will completely enter into your medicine track. So you could have a generic overview, what could be the different possibilities of your pre-meds and what could be the different majors that you could actually pick in specifically if you are more or less targeting US as your primary target or like any top med schools like Johns Hopkins, Baylor's, or something more or less in the similar track. Number one, I mean, you could do basic biology major that everyone picks in. You could do system biologies, you could do public health, but there are certain majors that will help you get accepted in some good universities where the acceptance rates are more high. Like take an example, health informatics, where most of the students are not aware of that. So guys, this is one of the major which given by most of the UCs, some of the top medical schools, where in journal you have a more acceptance rate in comparison to the journal biology or any other chem major that you will be taking for your pre-medicine. Let's hop on to the next one. What could be the other specific segments what you could take in? So again, I've put down all the different majors as well as different professions that you could take in for your pre-medicine. But all in all, I'll just put track here. In general, your US medicine works in this specific order. 4 years is your PM, that is your pre-medicine. Then you give your exam, that is more or less MCAT. Post your MCAT, then you'll enter into your med school that will somewhere around 4 to 5 years. Depends from the uni to uni. All in all, this could be something around 9 to 10 years your overall medicine could take place. So the segments that we are discussing as of now, guys, this is specifically for your 4 years track, more or less what you could do in your pre-medicine for that 4 years of timeline. But yes, for sure, as we proceed in this today's webinar, we'll be touching few topics that definitely how we could squeeze in this 9 or 10 years of the overall medicine. and what could be the best possible way, you could do your medicine specifically in the US itself. All right, so let's dive into the major chunk or the major section is the exams. What exams we primarily need to take specifically for the different countries. That's the basic doubts that most of the students have. And I'm considering might be you're also in dilemma, like what courses, I mean, what exam I need to take for different countries. So I'll segment it a very simple and a basic manner, guys. Number one, if you're specifically targeting UK as a primary destination, like you are targeting schools like Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, Bristol, Nottingham, or King's College of London, these are the top ones, then you need to give exam called UCAT. In general, UCAT earlier used to be of 3,600, but now 2025, this exam is of 2,700 now. So normally we have a four sections here, and in journal 2,700 comprises of 900 times 3, that is 27, and we have one section called SJ, that is situational judgmental, where you'll be marked on the basis of certain bands. So just giving you an overview, this is how the UCAT normally works. If you're specifically targeting some top schools or top medical schools like U Cambridge, Bristol might be, U Nottingham, then you need to have a score of somewhere around 21 to 2200 or even up and above that. So that's a basic baseline score as per the 2025 trends, guys. Nonetheless, your situational judgmental in UCAT, that is again an important section, matters a way lot. Like if you got a very good score in your UCAT, but you didn't score a good in situational judgmental, then definitely you will not get a good medical seat, I could say, in the top UK universities. Talking a bit about the second exam, that is ISAT, it's completely different from the region. If you're specifically targeting guys more or less like Australia, like the top unis, if I say U Monash, UNSW, U Sydney, then these are some of the top medical school, top 3 or 4 medical schools in the Australia, or more or less, if you are specifically thinking for Australia as a primary destination or you want to pursue your medicine there, then you need to give a specific exam called ISAT. More or less, ISAT works on a pattern of a percentile where you'll be judged on 100 percentile. But in specific, if you're targeting something like the top schools like UMonash, UNSW and all, then you need to have some 85 plus percentile in that case. So I just give you a general comparison from this. I'll not take much time on that. ISAT is your exam where you need to give if you want to target some Australian universities or some top Australian medical schools. And if you're specifically targeting UK as your primary destination, even Scotland, then definitely UCAT is the primary exam that you need to give more or less for that university. So that's the basic distinguish factor for that. Once again, ISAT normally works, or Australian universities guys normally works. First, you need to give your ISAT. You need to have a baseline score of 85 plus. Then, if you get selected on the basis of profiling, your screening will be done, and post that you'll be invited in campus for your interview. Post your interview, you'll get an acceptance or a rejection letter. So that's how the things normally works in Australia. Now, there are two different exams. Definitely, these are not your UG exams, but I feel that you need to have a knowledge for that also. If you're targeting some North American countries, like might be, I mean, Canada or something, US or some even Caribbean islands, then here the things normally works. First, you need to give your pre-medicine, then you need to give your exam. Now, that is an exam that will give you an entry into a medical school. So the name of the first exam is your MCAT, which is more or less like your medicine exam, what we call as a NEET PG in India. But in general, MCAT is only for your specifically getting entry into the medical school. In general, if you're specifically targeting any universities in dentistry or dental sciences or even in clinical judgment, then definitely MCAT will not be the exam that will be giving after pre-medicine. Rather, you'll be given an exam called ADAT. So that's a basic difference, but more or less, these are the two exams that will be giving post your bachelor's in US. Because again, as I'm telling, your US system normally works first bachelor's exam, and then you'll be entering into the medical school. So the entry ticket for your medical school depends upon your MCAT scores. So that's the basic difference about the four major medical exams. I could say if you're targeting US as your primary destination, if you're targeting Australia as your primary destination, or might be if you're targeting UK as a primary destination. I hope so far so good till here. Just to give you an overview, these are the some score requirements specifically for some universities. Just to give you differentiating factor, how ISAT score works and how UCAT scores normally works. If you will see, guys, normally UCAT ISAT overall exam is of 200 marks, and you will be marked on the basis of percentile. Again, if you're targeting something like the top schools, University of Sydney, University of Melbourne, University of Queensland, and University of Monash, these are the top four medical schools in Aus. You need to have a somewhere around a baseline score of 170 plus if you're giving an ISAT and targeting some of these top four medical schools. On the other hand, if you're targeting something in UK might be like schools like University of Cambridge, King's College London, University of Edinburgh, or University of Glasgow, then as I'm telling you, for this year now your UCAT will be completely 2700. Earlier it used to be of 3600. Now for U Cambridge, you need to have a baseline score of 2100. For KCL, you need to have a score something around 18 or 1900. University of Edinburgh, something 2100. And University of Glasgow, again, something 1900 to 2100. So that's a basic, I could say, I mean, the differentiating factor, guys, between ISAT and UCAT. But again, now most of you will ask how this exam will normally judge you. So they'll not judge you on the basis of your physics, chem, or biology skills, that what you'd be actually studying for your grade 11 and 12. Rather, they judge you on basis of your quantitative, verbal decision making, and even your abstract reasoning skills. So all in all, just to give you an overview of what ISAT UCAT normally comprises of, we have quantitative reasoning, that is QR. We have verbal reasoning, that is VR. And then we have the third section, that is decision making, that is DM. This all three section comprises of 2700. And then you have a fourth section that we call as SJ. We call it a situational judgmental, where you'll be actually judged on the basis of what situations, how you could handle if you become a doctor in the future. So that's essay is more or less all about. And it's about something bands of 1 to 4. That's how the UCAT overall structure being, guys. And if I talk a little bit about your ISAT is more or less the same, but here we have only two sections. Number one, we have abstract AB plus quantitative, which comprises of one section. And the second section, we have CR, that is critical reasoning. So if you have 200 overall exam, then 100 marks is your for AB plus QR and 100 marks is for your CR precisely. It's 50-50 percentage. So that's the whole thing. That's how these two exams being differentiated. More or less, ISAT and UCAT pattern is 90% same. But in general, the target destinations and target countries changes as per the exam. I hope so. So far, so good. Um, yes, again, now the question being that most of the my students ask that why Australia, why not UK, or let's say why not might be, I could say US in that case, then definitely there would be a lot of factors, guys. Number one, if you're specifically targeting for states, then definitely you need to invest somewhere around 8 to 9 years of your timeline of your overall to complete your medicine, and then you become a junior doctor might be. Specifically in Australia, that will be somewhere around 5.5 to 6 years. We will be completing your oral medicine because here you don't have a system of pre-medicine. You'll be directly jumping towards the MBBS thing. Secondly, you have one of the top schools. If I compare like UMonash in rankings order also, it's much better in comparison to some US schools like Baylor's, University of Alabama, or even in Johns Hopkins also in some of the cases. So that's one of the factor I could say you could consider Australia for the same. Again, Australian medical schools, guys, focuses are more research oriented. Your 5 years is your complete medicine that you'll be studying in. And in India, just like that, we have an internship. Rather in Australia, the med schools works like on research pattern, where your 5 years is your complete study and 1 year is your complete research that you'll be working on any of the area like biochem, something like anatomy, something like microbiology, like whatever research you want to do in, or whatever, I mean, subject you're more interested in. So that's a basic segmentation for the Australia guys. Coming back to the a comparison, so you have a more or less a basic idea how UK and Australia they are different from each other, specifically in the timelines. And then we'll discuss a little bit upon the costing. And third, we'll discuss more and less about the post MBBS, like after MBBS, what exams you need to take. Like specific in US, as I discussed with you, you need to actually take either MCAT or either ADAT, depends upon what you want to do, a dentist, or might be you want to enter into a pure medical profession. But in UK and Aus, things are a little bit different. All in all, tenor, if I specifically say, it's more or less the same 5 to 6 years for UK. And even for Australia, it is same again, 5 to 6 years. So in the tenor, it's not major changes being there. UK and Australia, more or less, you're completing the same time your overall MBBS, whatever university you are actually studying. It depends from uni to uni. Some do 5 years, some is 6 years. Again, it depends on a lot of other factors. If I talk a little bit about the average cost per year, then yes, this is an basic average cost that you could consider for the UK. Somewhere around you'll be shelling 20 to 50 lakhs per year. But again, that depends upon a lot of factors. If you're going for the top five medical schools, then definitely you have more tuition fees. But if you're going something like in a top 20 or 30 medical schools, then you have, fees more or less. I mean, specifically, if you will say for Oxford, it's 39 lakhs. If Cambridge is 45 lakhs. But if I say for University of Nottingham, then that fees is something around 25 to 28 lakhs per year. So that's how the things will differ from university to university and even from region to region. That's how it will, differ in the UK to be precise. Second factor is your overall UK admission cost, something around 5 or 6 years. How much that gonna cost? That is one of the major factor. Number one, your UK cost something around 1.5 to 3.5 CR. That's an average. Depends again on a lot of factors, but that's an average that you could expect specifically in the US. Sorry, in the UK. Talking a bit about the Australian segment, guys. Same. I feel the fees is normally little less in comparison to the UK and I could say US in the case. That's why Australia could be a better option for 2026 if you're targeting medicine as a primary destination spot. Somewhere on for the Australia, it's gonna cost 16 lakhs to 42 lakhs per year. Again, depends upon a lot of factors. As I told you, for UK, top med schools have higher fees. Same thing happens in the Aus. Like the top schools like U Melbourne, Monash, U Queensland, U Sydney, they have somewhere around an yearly fees of 45 to 51 lakhs. But your overall 5 or 6 year cost will be something 80 lakhs to 2.5 CR, which is more or less little less in comparison to the UK or US as a primary destination spots. So that's a bit more or less about your cost of attendance, which I feel that definitely you need to be aware for that also. Talking a little bit about your post MBBS now, the work rights, specifically in the UK and specifically in Australia. As I talk more about the exams for the US, like you need to give your MCAT and you need to give your ADAT in this case. For UK, you need to give PLAB as a licensing exam. And for the Australia, you need to give your AMC exam so that you could practice post your MBBS. This is an option only if you need to practice in these countries. But if you come back to India, then process and everything will be very different. Again, it depends upon a lot of different factors, like what could be the journal salaries, might be you could expect somewhere around if you're practicing in UK or if you're practicing in Oz. So somewhere around, if you will see for the UK, it's something around 2,700 pounds to 3,600 pounds per month. That is somewhere around 3 lakhs per month in INR conversion. Same thing with the junior doctor in, I could say, on Australia, more or less, it's comes around to be same only 2.5 to 3 lakhs per month. Again, depends upon a lot of factors. Have you given your PG exams and that, and which field you're entering in? But that's an average. Overall, I could say in journal entry salaries you could expect when you be completing your MBBS and when you be clearing your licensing exam. So that's a bit about the post MBBS completion and your work rights. Again, specifically in yeah, I think this is more or less clear. I hope so. It's pretty much clear from your end that how things actually differ. Again, now we'll come to a segment called the medicine, which is a very important segment, guys. When I was starting this overall webinar, I discussed with you that specifically for the US, your overall medicine will be somewhere around 9 to 10 years, which is again a biggest factor. Reason being, guys, your overall medicine will be something 9 to 10 years, whereas in Australia and UK, you're completing in 6 years. And this costs somewhere around 5 to 6 year. Depends upon which universities you're targeting in. So there is an alternative, or I could say one of the hack that specifically you could target in more or less for the US medical school, that is BS plus MD. That is, US give you an option to actually do your dual major where you do not need to give MCAT or ADAT as an exam. But hardly only 25 universities give you that as an option. Some I've put for the today's webinar, but again, there are a lot of universities. As I'm saying, is 25, depends upon a lot of factors. But again, it's pretty competitive. Now, in BS plus MD, your overall medicine will be completed in 6 to 8 years, depending upon university to university and depending upon region to region also. Like I'll give you an example, UKMC, UMKC, University of Missouri, Kansas City, it's 6 years overall medical program you have. But again, your SAT requirements I've put down 1400 plus. It depends upon a lot of factors. In general, for these four universities, I've put an average SAT scores, but in general, if you have a score of 1550 plus, then only I suggest you should apply to these medical schools for BS plus MD track. Second is a San Luis. San Luis, something around your 6 years again. So in your 6 years, you'll be completing your BS plus your MD. That is your pre-medicine, and you become a professional doctor after your 6 years. But again, the whole point being for this BS plus MD thing, if you're targeting any of these universities, hardly four universities give you an option for 6 year track. Then five or six give you an option for seven, and most of them give you an 8 year track in this case. So just a comparison, I'm giving it to you. Again, Baylor's are the universities that give in 8 years your overall BS plus MD, and Brown, very famous university. I think most of you are aware of that. It's program in liberal medical education, PLME. PLME is a very competitive major specifically in Brown, but again, it's of 8 years. 4 years your undergrads and 4 years your MD. But whatever BS plus MD I'm talking, again, your MCAT here will be waived off. You don't need to give any MD track exam in that case. So that's the best part. I mean, if you were thinking something like BS plus MD or something you were targeting US and you're thinking just because of cost, I'm not targeting, then you could target BS plus MD in that case. So guys, whatever doubts you have, I better suggest we'll do a Q&A session. I could see some hands there. You could write in the chat box. Might be after this, I'll answer all your queries, whatever you have. Perfect. Also, one more thing, guys. If specifically you're targeting any top medical school, but this is also one of the option I could suggest if someone is targeting. Cornell is one of the top Ivy Leagues, and Cornell have one campus in Qatar. So again, this Cornell University, who Cornell campus in Qatar, which is called Veal School of Medicine, one of the top medical school. I have worked in the Veal School of Medicine something like 4 or 5 years back. So overall, your research, your medicine, everything is of top-notch level. But your American campus is in Ithaca, the Cornell University, where you have one more campus in Gulf, that is in Qatar. And here they'll offer you the same thing, that is your 6 years BS plus MD. So that is also one of the option for you if you're specifically targeting Gulf as your primary destination, where you get the same medical education like the US one. So I think let's complete this a traditional pathway. Then we'll do a basic quiz, guys. Just a small quiz that will be, I mean, I just will be assessing a few factors. From that quiz, I'll be picking something 5 or 10 top participants from the leaderboard. And if you have any specific doubts that you need to ask for your major profile, which country should I target for medicine? What university should I target in? Or what could be the major segment for my profile building and all, then you could separately discuss with me on that one-on-one call. So I'll be pushing that quiz after this, and then we'll have a great quiz session, I could say. So guys, let's complete the US first of all. The US, pathway, the traditional pathway works in a three-phasing process. Phase one is your UG degree, that is a 4 years, where you need to do again one of your majors in life sciences or one of any majors that you could do, what I showed in the slide 5 or 10 minutes back. Either you could do in biology, either you could do in chem, or either you could do in any other life sciences majors. Phase two is your again exam that you need to give your MCAT, which again takes 1 year of prep. And then your phase three is your definitely your MD school. That is again your next 4 years gonna take place. So something it's 8 to 9 years. So I hope so. I mean, I speak a lot about on that. But if you have specific doubts, again, guys, I'm asking you could actually push your queries in your chat. And I'll be pushing one quiz now, just specifically for that one-on-one session that I was discussing with you. Let me just share my, I'll be sharing a link. I suggest everyone you better join that quiz. Perfect. Here we go. I'm sharing that in your chat. Could you share that to all members, Kawaljeet ma'am, if that's possible?
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
Perfect. And guys, I request everyone to please join this quiz. Let's see who comes in this top 10 leaderboard. But
Uh,
Harisa, I think you could
yes,
write
yes,
in your
I'll
chat if,
reshare.
yeah.
Yes, I've reshared.
Okay, so in the meantime, you guys are joining. I'll answer some of your queries, whatever you have in your chat box. Which is the best country to pursue medical stream in year 27? Kai asked. Again, Kayas is dependent upon a lot of factors, but I could say if you're specifically targeting some university, I mean, university depends on a lot of factors. You need to first of all decide your country. I could say Australia, you could keep the first destination, UK the second, and US the third. Again, this is just my overview I'm giving, but again, it depends upon a lot of factors. Which country could be best for your portfolio. Suraj, if I get a nice score, will I get scholarship? Definitely, you get a lot of scholarship. Again, medical schools give a good scholarship for the US. You can ask, so definitely don't need to worry about that specific case. Dash, yes, IELTS is like an English proficiency. You need to give IELTS, for any country, English speaking country, to be honest. Sonal, yes, your 12 boards matters a lot. I mean, specifically for Australia, if I say, then yes, they need someone who have 90 or 95 plus percentage in your grade 12, specifically for your top universities, I could say. So rest, I'll answer guys later on. Let's start this quiz and let's see who are these top 10 winners for that. I still can't see anyone who could join this quiz. Have you shared the link, ma'am? Just want to check.
Yes, sir, I've shared. Oh, just a minute. Let me check once again.
Sure.
Uh, just a minute.
Arush, I'll just talk a little bit
Yeah.
about your extracurriculars after this quiz. So you have a more clarity what extracurriculars, I mean, you could actually beneficial for you specifically for your portfolio. But yes,
Uh,
there could be a lot of things, and we'll discuss each one by one post this.
so I've
Charlotte,
shared the link with everyone. I believe they will join. Yeah.
perfect, that's great. And I want maximum participation, guys, for this quiz. Let's see. Perfect. I'll start that in 30 seconds, waiting for others to join that. Perfect. Let's start this. All right. Good luck, guys. Amazing. I think, oh, 12 are the correct responses, but that's great. Cool. All right, let's move to the next question of the quiz. Let's see what is the next one. All right, let's go ahead with the second one. Here we go. Which UK city is known as the birthplace of Shakespeare? I hope so. Those who are targeting UK as a primary destination, they knows this. Perfect. That's great. Amazing. 32 correct responses. Cool. All right, let's move to the third one. I think from third one, you'll be getting more your biology related one. Just want to test on how good you're in biology. Perfect. I think it's a basic one. Which scientist is credited with discovering the circulation of blood in the human body? That's great. I think 34 correct responses. Amazing. I hope everyone know the answers of this quiz. Let's see the leaderboard ones with this three questions who are in the top. Okay, so I think till now, Karthik is on top. Sorry, Isha is on top. Joanna was the second. Kardeep, I think third. Hiya, fourth. And Lakshanika, I think, the fifth one. Great, guys. Amazing. Let's see who will be the top 10 then. Let's move to the next three. All right. Fourth one. Which physician is famous for his development of antiseptic techniques in surgery? Amazing. I think 28 correct responses. That's great. Let's move to the fifth one. Okay, which organ in the human body has a unique ability to regenerate after injury? I'm hoping so. Everyone knows this. It's a pretty easy one. Perfect. That's great. As expected, I was thinking everyone knows this. Great, guys. All right, last one, and after that, I'll push the final results of this quiz. Here we go. Okay, I think this one is a little tricky. Well, let's see who knows this. Which enzyme is responsible for breakdown of hydrogen peroxide? Amazing, that's great. Again, 37 is a good number. Let's see who 10 are this in this leaderboard. Again, guys, this is a good opportunity for you. Whoever will be in the top 10 leaderboard, I'll be having a one-on-one personal call with you just to understand your profile and give you certain suggestions that you could work for your top medical schools, whatever you're targeting. Great, Isha. Congratulations, Isha. That's great. Then we have Garvdeep, and I think the same Karthik, Sonia, Shubham, Namita, Shanand, and Ashwin. You guys could, I mean, you already know who are the winners of this quiz. And I mean, post this call might be something Monday. We'll connect one-on-one and just, you could have an interaction with me. Perfect. Let's start the next segment of this webinar, guys. I'll be, let me open. Okay, perfect. All right, so I think I've completed with US, UK, Australia, and I've covered more or less everything what's ever been required. But again, there are a lot of factors. I could see a lot of questions in the chat box, which I'll revert back, once this whole thing will be done. Now let's come to your profile building section. That is very, very important, specifically for the top schools, I could say Oxbridge, Cambridge, I could say, or even for the top Ivy Leagues or some top schools like Johns Hopkins, Yale School of Medicine, UPenn School of Medicine. So these are some of the, some of the top universities, whatever discussed in past 15 or 20 minutes. For that, you need to have a stellar profile. So number one thing, guys, what you need to have in your profile, I just give you a bit of an idea for your pre-medicine thing. If you're grade 11 and 12, one, you need to have a good volunteering or shadowing experience. Now, what is shadowing? It's more or less like you need to actually work with specific doctor to actually showcase a number of hours. In these universities, whatever I told you, they normally expect you should have 40 to 50 hours where you have worked with any physician, cardiologist, or any of the top doctors, just to showcase that you know this procedure. That's what the admission officers wanted to see. Second, the best way could be you could either present in any research internship, or I could say research, or either in some of the summer programs. So I have put out some of the summer programs here, but again, there are a lot of summer programs depending upon what you want to do. But some of the programs that everyone could apply if you're targeting some of the top schools in US or some of the top universities in UK and Australia. Third will be your capstone or your passion project, where I'll be talking more. It's very important if you are specifically targeting medicine for the top Ivy Leagues or the top UK universities to be precise. And last but not the least is your internships. So these are the four, I could say, keywords in your portfolio that normally any admission officers will evaluate you. And this is required for your profile building for the top medical schools. So I'll not take much time on that. I'll come one by one on your summer programs. Number one is your Stanford Medical Summer Research. Again, this is a very good program, guys, if you're targeting Stanford as your primary destinations or your dream university for medical. I have 3 to 4 students who got into SIMR, and two of them got acceptance from Stanford Medical School for their pre-medicine. So this is a really good because you will work with a professor in SIMR and you work on a research for 4 weeks, and the letter of rec that you'll be getting from SIMR, I feel that is a lot of weightage in your overall application for Stanford if you'll apply or something in the California as your region. Second is JHIBS, that is Johns Hopkins Internship for Brain Sciences. This is specifically for those who have a specific target. I want to target in neuroscience, computational neuroscience, or specifically you wanted to understand psychology of brain sciences. Then GHIBS was specifically for those students as a summer program. Fourth one is your Simon Summers research. It's conducted by Stony Brook, and this is open for all if you're interested in biology, pre-medicine, something biochem, biophysics, something computational biology. So it's a really good program. You could apply. Process is like that. You need to submit your essays. After essays, you have an interview. Post the interview, you'll get the results. That's how it works for all the four programs, whatever I'm discussing with you. Last but not the least is your Scripps research internship. Scripps is a little selective. I could say they hardly select 20 to 25 every year. But again, it's a really good program, specifically if you wanted to do a good research internship or you wanted to understand how things works in wet lab or how real research normally works. Let's dive into the next part of your portfolio creation, that is passion or the capstone project. So again, this is very important, guys. If until unless I feel you'll not showcase in your overall portfolio that you're creating a dent in a society or a hook, and that hook specifically will be showcased with the help of your passion or a capstone project. So passion project normally tells what passion you have for your specific major. So in general, this is how things normally work. For your passion project, your major objective will be you need to work on a project And then you need to showcase the authenticity of that project with the help of an RP, that is research paper. And that's what I suggest any one of you, if you're targeting US as a primary destination, Ivy Leagues might be, or if you're targeting some UK top universities like the top schools, or even for the Australian top schools. Just to give you a glimpse how passion projects normally looks, this is one of the project that one of my students, she got into Cornell. I just give you an idea. Again, I just give you one more explanation on this. This specific project I'm discussing, this she did with me and SIMR, the Stanford Research Internship that I was discussing with you. So we work specifically on the mostly we specifically work on the gum diseases, and more or less we were collecting the data from the lab, and from that we created our own predicted models at how gum diseases could be improved, specifically who are undergoing with severe gum diseases in California to be precise. So this is one of the project. If you will see here, she's solving a problem, a gum disease, who are suffering specifically in California or even in any other country. So this is like a passion you need to show in your passion project. Second, again, this is one of the project that, one of my students, she did and got into Stanford med school, even she got into UC Berkeley. If you will say, we were diagnosing some cardiac conditions from MRI scans. So this was again a project where we are actually highlighting some of the major disease that is the cardiac conditions, specifically heart attacks we were working on, and other specific heart conditions we are working on. So definitely this is also one of the passion that she's showcasing, that how intense I could say motivation I have to be part of the university. So this is the cycle that you need to follow for your passion project. First, you need to work on a passion project. Once your project will be done, you need to showcase that project with the help of a paper, either research paper or with any review paper. And then you could even showcase that specific thing in some of your conferences also. I could say in some of the medical conferences. So that's bit about, I could say, guys, your overall portfolio. Overall, in general, I say portfolio or profile building, you could do an n number of things. But I'm just giving a generalized idea. This could be the three major factors. Number one, shadowing, volunteering. Second will be internship or research. And third will be your passion or your capstone project. I hope so far so good till here. Let's dive into the next part. I think this is the last part of your overall country comparisons. Your scholarships for specifically for the medicine. I have made a generalized listing process here for US, UK, and Australia. Again, as someone was asking in the chat to me that does our grade 12 percentage matter? Definitely they matter a lot. And again, whatever scholarships that you'll be getting in, that depends upon your grade 12 percentage also. You'll be getting a lot of merit paid scholarship. So talking a bit about the US, just one thing that no most of the students are not aware of, guys. Again, I was a part of this medical school for 2 years, Albert Einstein College of Medicine. It's one of the top medical school in New York Bronx. The best part being every year they get a lot of funding. And best part, if you're targeting something US and a fully funded might be specifically for your 4 years, then Albert Einstein School have given a lot of fully funded to their students, specifically from India and other South Asian countries. So again, if you're targeting a good medical school in US where you are thinking cost should not be the barrier, then you could target Albert Einstein Medical School. It is one of the top best school. I mean, I have worked so far in my research tenure. And secondly, I could say mostly have $1 billion funding for their pre-med students. So in general, they sponsor you a lot of scholarships. In some of the cases, it is fully funded scholarship also. So I could suggest you could even target this school even for your pre-meds or even for your medicine as a track if you wanted to do your MD in that case. Then first is a Johns Hopkins University scholarship if someone is targeting JHU. They have their own scholarship. It's something like post your applications, the JHU did. You'll be getting an email if you get an acceptance to JHU. Most of the cases, you'll be getting 80 to 90 percentage coverage of your overall tuition fees. But that depends if your overall income of less than $300,000 for a year. So these are the two major scholarships that I could say that you could target in, but there are n number of scholarships, guys. I'm talking. It depends upon a lot of factors. Second is for your UK, specifically Oxford and Imperial. They are good on scholarships. I'm just telling on the merit basis. So they give you a lot of scholarship on the basis of your income that you will showcase to them. And second, on the basis of good merit. If you have a good grade 12 percentage, if you have a good UCAT score, then you get a pretty decent amount of 30 to 40% of scholarship for your overall academic fees. Again, the same for your Australia too. Monash and U Sydney give good amount of scholarship. Monash every year, if you have a good 95 to 90, I mean 90 percentage somewhere around in that, I could say range, grade 12 percentage or something like 85 to 90 or ISAT score, then you could expect 10,000 Australian dollars every year they'll give to some of the good meritorious students as their scholarship. It's a merit scholarship. Name of the scholarship only is a Monash International Merit Scholarship. But again, that depends upon the factors of your scores, your academic scores, and your test scores. All right, so I'll not take much time now on that. Just showcase you some of the students who got place in some of the med schools and some of the top universities. You could say Meeti was one of the students. She got an acceptance at UCLan, and she had a pretty decent UCAT score. She got 1800 plus, I think, in the UCAT, and she got into some different med schools also. Same thing, I think, for the Ivy Leagues. If you will say Ishank, Amok, Chinmay, Rishabh, these are some of the the students who got into top, I could say, Ivy Leagues, or even for the top med schools, I could say. All right, so let's dive into the next part. That is some of the case studies. I'll just showcase you some of the specific case studies for the students who got into some of the top universities, and these could be one of the additional factors you could also consider while you're building a profile or for the profile building segment. This was a student, guys, I was talking you about for the Cornell University's SIMR, the research internship. And this is the case study of that specific girl. She got into MIT, she got into Northwestern, she got into U Chicago, and even she got into Cornell. So if you will see here, she did a passion project for the gum diseases that I was telling you a few minutes back. Second, whatever gum diseases project she did, all the projects she presented in different conferences. She published a research paper for that. So that is one of the authentication factor in her overall portfolio building, I could say. After, apart from that, if you will say, she did some of the good crowdfunding campaigns where, if you will think, she crowdfunded something $1,800 for the women's in the society who are actually suffering from the women's hygiene. So this is again a dent in the society she wants to create in. So these are some of the factors, if I could say, crowdfunding, your internship, and third would be some good passion project. These three combination or the stapling factor will give you a really good profile, which I feel admission officers really wanted to see in what motivation you have specifically for pre-medicine to study in, might be US, or if you're targeting UK to do your MBBS, might be. Let's have a look for the second case study. Yeah, she is the one who got into Stanford, UCLA, Johns Hopkins. Again, she did a research with me. We worked on a research specifically finding biomarkers for different cancers like breast cancer, cervical cancers, and even more. That was a passion project she did with me. Then she did an internship at Stanford itself, the SIMR that I was telling you. She did a project there. Thirdly, she did some good crowdfunding campaigns of $4,000 to $5,000, and she did some shadowing programs with 2 to 3 different doctors to complete her 40 to 50 hours of shadowing. So this is different two profiles I could showcase you. I mean, what are the different things they have in their overall portfolio that help them to get into the top universities or the top medical schools, whatever they were targeting. I feel so far so good till here. Now let's have a good Q&A session. I'll be more than happy enough to answer queries, whatever you have. By anyhow, could we give them a mic access, Kawaljeet ma'am, so they could actually ask their question?
Um, we can try, sir. Let's see if they raise their hands.
Okay, guys, if anyone have any specific issue, you just raise your hands one by one. We'll give you the access for the same.
Okay. So let me check.
Oh, a lot of hands I could see and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
questions I could see in the chat. In the meantime, I'll just answer some of the questions
Yes,
they
sir.
have.
So, shall I allow Sheikh Ahmed to talk?
Sure.
Okay, Sheikh. Yeah, you can ask your question.
Hi, Sheikh. How are you?
I've asked you
Uh,
to unmute. Yeah.
yeah, good evening, Shangad. Basically, I have two questions. This is regarding my son, who for whom I am trying for the 2026 admission process.
Mm-hmm.
See, all the three countries what you have given information is wonderful. First thing, the two questions which I want to raise is one is what is the expenditure incurred for the BS+MD program in USA? First one. Second one is, are you providing any coaching for this kind of exams? That is, UCAT, mainly ISAT, ISAT as well as UCAT exam. And what is the expenditure comes out to?
First of all, nice meeting with you, Mr. Ahmed. Definitely for the BS+MD track, whatever discussed with you, there are two options that I told in the webinar. Number one, you could do BS+MD in US, which is again 6 to 7 years, depends upon the university. Overall expenditure for the BS for just general medicine in US is 5 to 6 CR. But if you will do BS+MD, then that will cost something 2 to 3 CR. So overall reduction will be there because 2 to 3 years direct reduction is that. But if you're specifically targeting the Cornell University, the Qatar campus, then your overall expenses will be more or less. Considering your living cost in Qatar is more cheaper in comparison to your living cost in Ithaca, specifically if he's targeting Cornell, the US campus. So these are the two alternative ways for the BS+MD for the costing process. And as per the exams, definitely yes, we do prepare for ISAT and UCAT both.
Okay, and what about how do I contact you? Like after this webinar?
I think team will roll out a form might be in I think might be in few minutes and
Okay, fine.
yeah, perfect.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mr. Chandra.
Anytime.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So now I'll unmute Janvi.
Hi Janvi, how are you?
Yes, Janvi, you can ask your question.
I can't hear you, Janvi, by the way.
I think there is a network issue from her side.
All good. Um, we could actually try this with someone else then.
So it's Ramya.
Ramya. Hi. Hi Ramya, how are you?
Hello.
Yeah, hey, how
One
are you,
second.
Ramya?
You can ask your question, Ramya.
Hello. Can
Yes, we
you
can hear you. Yeah, you're
repeat it
audible.
Singapore?
I'm sorry, Ramya, your voice is feebling a little bit. I can't hear you properly.
No, I wanted to know how we can study in Singapore.
Oh, Singapore. Singapore things are pretty straightforward, Ramya. Specifically for the Singapore, you don't need to give the specific exams. But in general, if you ask my suggestion, Singapore is more better specifically for your STEM majors. If you wanted to do some pure STEM, if I talk about the medicine track, you don't need to give specific exam, but this is just my suggestion I'm giving it to you. If you're targeting some good medical schools in South Asian countries, you could consider Hong Kong as the first option might be, not the Singapore in this case. Just a personal suggestion. But yes, for the Singapore, you don't need to give the specific exam. But one more thing, Ramya, I talk about the Monash University, the Australia top university for medicine. They have a campus in Malaysia also. So if you are thinking Singapore and a neighboring country, then you could actually target Monash Malaysia campus. Process everything the same. ISAT, interview, and your overall portfolio then.
Okay, thank you.
Anytime.
Okay, so sir, I'll now unmute Sajid. Yes, Sajid, you can ask your question.
Hey Sajid, how are you? Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sajid. How are you?
It's fine, sir. I was just wanted to ask that what about NEET qualifications? If we want to get settled in another country, is there any need for giving NEET exam?
Sajid, again, that's a good question. Specifically, if you're targeting any of the three countries, and I told you some of the exams, like US you need to give MCAT, for your UK you need to give PLAB, and Australia you need to give AMC. But again, these are the licensing exams you need to practice in the country. If you don't want to actually practice in those countries, you want to come back. Now, 2026, next is implementing. For that, you need like as now in India, we have NEET PG. Now in the next, you need to give step one, next to exam. Then you could practice in India. But that is again a pathway, I could say a NEET PG kind of, where you could study your MBBS there and then come back India for the practicing. So that is one of the things, Sajid. I hope I answer your question. If you're asking, we need to give NEET might be after going there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And
Perfect.
sir,
Mm.
Yeah, please continue, Sajid.
Yes, Sajid, go ahead.
sir, and what about other scholarships that will waive our full fees of universities? And yes, that's all.
So Sajid, there are a lot, as I told you, n number of scholarship depend upon your university to university. But I told you some specific scholarship that I could tell in you this webinar. Like I had a student in the past, Sajid, like a 2 years back. She got something 96 percentile in a grade 12. She had a good ISAT score and she got something 15,000 AUD, that is Australian dollars, for the Monash. So again, that's what I'm saying. Your merit depends upon a lot in your specific, your medicine or your pre-medicine track. So don't ever think that you'll not get a scholarship. You will even get the fully funded scholarship, like I told you, Albert Einstein Medical School in US. But that depends upon various factors, your profile, your grades, your test prep scores.
Yes, sir. Thank you a lot.
Anytime.
Um,
Yes, Tanvi, I feel you unmute yourself. Let me know if you want to ask anything.
you're talking to Janvi?
Yep, I
Yes.
think
Okay.
she unmuted herself, but we
Yeah.
still can't hear her.
Yes, Janvi, you can unmute yourself. And then,
Any other
we
queries,
cannot
guys?
hear.
I think we have a lot of other hands also.
Yes, actually, uh, we need to wind up. We can take some questions from the chat box. There
Sure.
are a lot of hands raised, and we have our number given in the chat box. So, dear students and parents, you can connect us on this number. And if you are looking for expert counseling session with Angad sir and our team, numbers are there. Our WhatsApp number is also there. You can connect with us because we are running out of time. It's already 7:05. We can take
Sure. I'll just take one or two questions from the
yeah,
chat, which
from
I see
chat
pretty
box. Yes, sir.
repetitive. Yep.
Yes, sir, please.
Uchita, what is the expenditure for the internship? So, Uchita, again, as I've told you, there are a lot of ways to do the internship. I just tell you two ways. Number one is summer programs that you could do for your internship. For SIMR, it is normally fully funded. If you get accepted for the Stanford one. Second, you could reach out to the professors um for doing your research. That is also one of the part. So internship expenditure, if you're asking for the summer programs, that depends upon a lot of factors. But yes, most of them are fully funded. If you get accepted, they'll be very happy enough to fund your overall trip and come to US and do your research there. Um, Sargun, yes, I suggest doing research. Summer schools are very, very important. One way is that you could do some research or a project in your summers. Second is that you could do some research-based summer schools. Um, I'm hoping so you're trying to say pre-college programs that are the research schools to be precise. So yes, pre-college you could do because this will give you an additional credits in your overall portfolio and that will be helpful to get into some of the good universities. I'll just take the last. Sajid, please clarify a question I didn't get. What about personal statements? So, again, John, we choose colleges in UK. First part will be you need to give UCAT. You have a good portfolio, whatever is telling you, shadowing hours, project, something more related to your portfolio for your medicine. Then you'll be pretty much eligible for Oxford or Cambridge if you're targeting that as a medicine. But first will be to qualify the exam, getting good, points in your UCAT. Yes, Uchita, you could give your investigatory project as your capstone, but again, you could have a word with me. I'll just let you know what is your investigatory project, and then we'll understand. Suraj, Albert Einstein is really good because I did my own research in Albert Einstein 2, 3 years back, and I could say it is one of the good medical school. But yes, if I do the comparison, Stanford is the best, and then it's the AEC, that is Albert Einstein College. Harshit, how to complete shadowing programs? Shadowing is not a program, Harshit. It's like you need to contact some of the nearest doctors in some of the clinics, and you need to complete 40, 50 hours under them. You could contact them. Doctors are very open, to give you that opportunity. So it's pretty much fine. You contact them, do something this summer, 40, 50 hours with them, understand how things are working, and then that will be considered as in your shadowing. Perfect. I think so far so good. I covered all the doubts.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sajid, you were asking something?
Yeah, sir. I was asking about personal statements that we have to give. I heard that for colleges, we have to give a personal statement from our 11th and 12th teachers.
That is your letter of recommendation. That is not your personal statements. Personal statement is what your motivation to get into the university. That what a personal statement is all about.
Yeah.
So, like that, what you're talking is letter of recommendation. But again, either way, you could take your letter of recommendation from your teachers, or either way, I told you some of the programs. If you get into some of the internship, you could take letter of recommendation from the professors also, which I suggest you definitely need to take. You have a higher acceptance ratio or higher percentage if you take it from any professors, might be.
Sir, what will be the right time to join that SIMR programs?
For this year, it's closed, buddy, but you could apply for 2026. Normally, applications open in October and November, and it closes in January. Then you need to present in campus, like Stanford Medical School in April till May. So October is the best time you need to apply for that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Just one last I'll take. What is the eligibility to apply for Monash Uni? So it's anonymous. So whosoever is this, first of all, for Monash University, number one, you need to have a ISAT score of 180 to 85 plus. That means 90 plus percentile, a good grade 12 score, and a good portfolio. If you have these much things, then you'll be invited for the interview. And if you clear the interview, the things will be overall fine, then you'll get an acceptance letter. But these major three things, good ISAT score, good grade 12 scores, and third is good portfolio. That what I discussed in this session so far. Yes, Harsha, you could work with your parents if they are doctors, but I suggest don't work with them because normally admission officers normally think whatever you currently have, you are not putting efforts for your profile. So it's better if someone in your parents' connections might be their friends are there, you could work shadowing for them. Hitesh, Australia definitely 80 lakhs to 1 CR universities. Monash, UNSW, you could target it. And even you could target UK once more or less as cost comes out to be same. If you're targeting top 20 segments like Nottingham and Leeds and all that stuff. Medha. So no, it's not late if you're in 12, but what I suggest you have hardly 3, 4 months left. So better in the 3, 4 months, the best you will utilize your time. That is the thing. I mean, how you're utilizing your next 3, 4 months. So first of all, just think. If you want, I'll have a word with you post the session. But yes, the best part being in this 3, 4 months, don't think you can't do anything. You still could do shadowing. You could still do the project thing. It's pretty much achievable in this 3, 4 months. Perfect. I think I've covered most of the questions, guys. And if you have any specific doubts, because I could see still a lot of hands, that you need to ask questions, we'll have a conversation, or might be you could reach out and we'll have a one-on-one call in that case then.
So
Perfect.
thank you.
Yep. So it
So thank you
was
so much, Amit sir. Yes, please continue. Yeah, you're saying something.
I think so far so good. It was nice interacting with them. Good to see they have a lot of questions. They are really motivated to get into some
Yes.
top medical schools. And my best wishes for you. You get into whatever med schools you're targeting, and whatever help you need from my end, I'll be very much happy to give that suggestions. Whatever you could work on in overall portfolio. So good luck. Have a good day. Bye bye, and take care, guys.
So thank you so much, Angad sir, for sharing such valuable insights on medical program admission. And yes, we truly appreciate your time and expertise. I'm sure that attendees are walking away today with a lot of information and they are truly inspired from you. So, as we conclude this insightful session, a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who have enthusiastically participated and attended the webinar, and you were having that attention throughout the webinar. So, we hope that today's discussion has provided clarity and sparked inspiration and address your most pressing questions about pursuing medicine abroad, whether it is through a BS plus MD program in the US or direct entry in the UK or innovative pathways of Australia as covered by Angad sir. So if you are wondering where you stand in this competitive landscape and are looking for deeper insights uh, tailored to your individual profile, we have got you all covered here in Allen Global. So please connect with us through the numbers shared in the chat, and of course in the Q&A session also we try to answer most of your questions, and our team will provide you with proper guidance outlining to strengths and areas of improvement and strategic guidance to help you stand out to top international medical universities across the globe. So we are excited to continue supporting you on your global academic journey. Until then, stay inspired, stay focused. Wishing you a productive and rewarding weekend ahead. Thank you so much, Angad sir, and thank you so much
Anytime. All
everyone
right.
for
Bye.
being part of this
Bye, guys.
webinar. Bye
Have a
bye,
great and a
everyone.
lovely weekend.